Okay, welcome free thinkers and leaders. We're going to have another video for you today of Melanated Media News, where independent alternative thinking is as simple as breathing. Now today we're going to talk about Huntington Park. We're going to go all the way to sunny California. First we started off in Chicago at the Old Jared Gardens. We spoke with someone in near New Orleans at the St. John's Parish. Now we're going to sunny California. Now, when you think of LA, when you think of the pretty beaches, the nice women, the surfing, the Hollywood and everything like that, but what you might not know is that this is the worst county in America for air pollution, and it's been that way for decades. This is nothing new, but we're trying to educate you on these environmental injustice issues. Now, as I said, we're going to focus on Huntington Park. Now, Huntington Park started off as a white community, and over time it became predominantly Latino. And during the 80s, it became known as Asthmatown due to the high rates of asthma. Now, this is mainly for two reasons. First, as I stated, it was a white town. It was mainly zoned for industrial use and for manufacturing companies. And another major reason that it's highly polluted is the temperature inversion in LA, also known as the pollution trap. Now, this is basically when the air that usually continues to rise, that you would have like in a normal city if you're in the Midwest or East Coast, the air continues to goes up into the sky. But due to the surrounding mountains and the basin and different things like that surrounding Los Angeles and LA County, the air gets trapped and it cycles back down into, the ground level. And that's why the pollution gets trapped. So the air cannot go through cool air to warm air. So the pollution's nowhere to escape. And it basically stores in the city. Since being labeled Asthmatown, there have been various environmental risks, such as the debris and dust from a freeway that collapsed during a 1994 earthquake that took years to clean up. This collapsed freeway was nicknamed the Mountain of Death. The 600,000 ton of mountain debris that was more than 60 feet tall, it basically worsened the asthma that the residents had, and it caused other health issues such as fatigue, different things like that. But the residents put pressure on the officials, kept putting the pressure, and basically got it cleaned up. Now, residents have also got national attention for their toxic pollution tour, which is basically to educate people, tourists, on the environmental injustices in their community, which I encourage everyone to be doing. I would like to look into, getting together with people doing things like that. So things that happened during the tour, it wasn't just the Huntington Park during the tour. There were several other communities, and they visited an elementary school that was plagued by miscarriages among the workers. Riders also breathed in the stench of slaughtered pigs and the stink of diesel fuel, paint, and other chemicals. And that brings us to our next recurring issue in Huntington Park, which is lead. Huntington Park was incorporated in 1906, which means many of its homes were built before 1978, which is the year the federal government banned the use of lead-based paint. Now, in April 2016, LA County basically put together more than $192 million aside for the lead removal in 10,000 homes in the county, which included homes, of course, in Huntington Park. As of June 2017, about a year and a couple months later, they've only spent $42 million during the cleanup. Now, who or what is behind the cause of this cleanup? Look no further than the Exide plant. There's a neighboring community called Vernon, California. It's very close. The community is aptly titled exclusively industrious in reference to the large number of manufacturing sites in the area. Most notable is the Exide plant. It's a 15-acre plant, which is a lead-acid battery smelter facility and operates 7 days a week. The plant has been operating since 1922 to 2014, the regulators say, and the plant's harmful deposits basically go into the soil up to 1.7 miles away. When you live in these areas, or even you think, I live down the street, or I live a couple miles away, just because Just because you can't see it or it's not on your street doesn't mean it's not affecting you. Since 1996, the plant has paid almost up to $1 million in penalties for its pollution violations. The plant was allowed to operate over 30 years with only a temporary permit. This is why you have to do the work in investigative journalism work and different things like that, because something can be regulated, it can be operating, but that doesn't mean that it's healthy or properly. Now in 2015, fortunately, the company made a deal with the U.S. Attorney's Office to shut down. In conclusion, communities like Huntington should remind us of the reality behind the glamorous, highly attractable cities that is never talked about enough. Beneath the depths of the colorful palm trees and soothing sounds of waves in the ocean lies one of the country's biggest pollution problems. And with that, a strong, resilient community that has spent decades fighting environmental justice. No matter what the community has been faced with over the decades, organizing, putting pressure on elected officials, demanding more public involvement in the zoning process, and, almost most importantly, decreasing diesel fuel emissions, all play key roles in making the community of Huntington Park safer for its residents. That's all I have for you for this video. Stay tuned, think independently, remember your future depends on it, and stay tuned for more Melanated Media news.